Okay, hey everybody, how's it going? Today I'm going to show you two stretches, okay, that you're going to complete for credit. There's going to be an assignment that'll be due by tomorrow night, and it'll be stretching of the hamstring and stretching of the quadricep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. I'm going to record this demonstration. I'll post it to Google Classroom, and then you'll be able to view this demonstration and the recording so that you can, if you need to go back to the video and you can't recall exactly what the stretches were, you can go back to the video and see how it's done. So the first stretch I'm going to show you is on the hamstring. There's two different ways of stretching the hamstring. I'm going to show you well, there's multiple ways of stretching the hamstring. I'm going to show you and the quadricep. I'm going to show you the how to stretch each muscle for somebody who, the first stretch I'm going to show you is on a individual who is very inflexible, so they're not flexible. So we're going to start with least flexible to most flexible on both muscles. Okay, so as we stretch the hamstring, okay, so basically, as you can imagine, that this skeleton is much lighter than a human leg. So, you know, I'm going to show you the angles of the muscle first, and then I'll show you how to stretch it correctly. So, as we know, the hamstring originates, okay, on the ischial tuberosity, which is where my right hand is down here. Okay, it originates here on the ischial tuberosity. Let's put it on the right spot. Okay, and it inserts part of the hamstring originates on the ischial tuberosity. And the tape is actually here to kind of emulate those muscles. And so you have the hamstring, basically the biceps femoris. Okay, we know that the biceps femoris actually originates on the ischial tuberosity. It transitions and it crosses the knee. We also have different muscles, semitendinosus, semimembranosus as well, that are emulated here by this particular tape. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is as we flex the hip and the knee is still flexed here, okay, the hip is flexed and the knee is flexed, this actually does stretch the hamstring. Okay, it actually does stretch the hamstring. So you can see as we flex the hip, you can't really tell the tape does stretch a little bit, but you can see that this tape is very loose, right? It's not very taut. This tape and this muscle is a little bit more taut than obviously this piece of tape here. So as I flex the hip, this tape gets more taut. As I extend the knee, you can see how now this part of the muscle, it actually gets more taut compared to now. Okay, so a full knee extension and hip flexion is actually the best way to stretch the hamstring. So when we have an individual who does not have very flexible hamstrings, it might be that flexion of the hip is getting them to the point to where the muscle is it's uncomfortable for them to stretch, and this is as much as we can do. So when you practice on your partner at home, how this is going to work is you are going to, this is the left leg, okay, so you're going to sit next to them, and you're going to try something here real quick. you're going to end up having to use your hand, okay, on the bottom of their foot and another hand on the back of their knee or the front of their knee is fine too. And what you're going to do is you're going to lift, you're going to go back of the knee, back of the foot one hand, back of the knee the other hand, and you're going to raise their leg. You're going to bend their knee like so. You're going to bend their knee like so. And you're going to raise their leg into hip flexion. Then what you're going to do is you're basically going to put you can actually use your hand, okay, to just keep their leg up. That's fine. Or you can use your hand to cup the back of underneath their heel. Okay, so underneath their heel and with your hand, and you can place your hand on the top of the knee. Okay, and then just flex it. It shouldn't be too difficult for you, strength-wise, to just hold their knee in this position and cup their foot with your heel, cup their heel with your hand. Should be not too difficult for you to just do that. From a biomechanical perspective, in terms of making sure it's not too difficult for you and it doesn't tax you, okay, and make your arms get sore and so forth. So we're going to just hold that right for there. We're going to hold that for 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds. Now, what will happen is you hold that for 30 seconds. You're going to do 3 30-second passes. Okay, so 30 seconds, we'll hold it. And then I'm going to ask my partner, I'm going to basically put a little bit more stretch on your hamstring. Tell me when to stop. And then for this person who's very, very inflexible, not flexible at all, we're going to put our hand on their knee, and we still have their hand cupped or their foot cupped with their hand. And now I explain to them, all right, I'm going to stretch. I'm going to put you into more of a stretch. Let me know when to stop. And now what will happen is we're going to begin to slightly extend the knee to put their hamstring on more stretch. Remember, a full stretch of the hamstring is extension of the knee, flexion of the hip. This is a comfortable stretch here. It's still stretching the hamstring. And now we're going to try to extend the knee as much as we can under their tolerance. It has to be comfortable for them. It can't be too comfortable because then it's not a stretch. It has to be a little slightly uncomfortable in order for it to be a stretch, but it can't be too uncomfortable to where it hurts so much that they tell you to stop. So we want to put them into a little bit more of a stretch. Someone say, okay, let me know when to stop. Okay, the individual tells me to stop. Okay, so I hold it there. And I hold for 30 more seconds. Okay, 30 seconds goes by. Then I tell them, okay, I'm going to go a little further now. Let me know when to stop. It might be that much further. It might not be a whole lot. So then I keep going. They say stop. Okay, then it might be now it's not a minute 30, right? I might be able to put my shoulder on their heel on my shoulder. Okay, and now I can hold that for another 30 seconds. It takes stress off my arm, which can get tired. Now I put their foot on my shoulder, and then I can put my hand on their knee and my other hand underneath their calf. Okay, so now I hold for 30 seconds. A minute 30 goes by, and then I take their leg and I slowly put my hand back on their heel, and I slowly bring it down. Then I'm going to stretch their other leg. 30-second passes. 3 30-second passes. Okay, so that is the first demonstration for someone who's not very flexible in the hamstrings. Second demonstration is to stretch an individual who's much more flexible than someone who's not very flexible, right? So someone who's very flexible, or we're not going to say very, but we'll say someone who's flexible enough to where this is not, they don't feel it in the stretch. Okay, so the next phase is, do you feel a stretch there at all? No, no stretch. Okay, so now we might say, okay, we're gonna not bend the knee, right? We're just gonna keep the knee extended completely. And now we're just gonna raise the leg. Okay, so this is a different scenario, different type of individual with more flexibility. How would we know to start with this? So for example, we might start lifting their leg in this position, and then they already are feeling the stretch, and they're so inflexible they can't even get to this point, right? They're in here. We said, well, you know what? Let's try this first, right? Let's try this first. All right, then we can progress to this. And once we get them let's try this first, and then we can progress to the next steps. Once we understand we can get them to this level. So, but before I begin, we also can, let's just say this person is here, and that's a good stretch. And then, well, we just cannot get them to extend the knee at all, right? Like even if I say, okay, I'm gonna go into this position, and it's so little, we're really not getting a whole lot of stretch extending the knee. So then what we can do is we can flex the hip more. Okay, so I would, instead of going into this position where I begin to try to extend the knee, I would then maybe put their foot on my chest, not right on my chest, but above like my shoulder, chest area. And what you're going to also do with regards to this is that you're never going to put your foot or any body part on your body part, like chest, groin, anything like that, because we have to make sure we protect, we protect each other and protect our patient and clients. We don't ever want to have any type of, improper, touching or anything like that with regards to the stretching and all that. So what I would do is I would put my hand on their foot, right? So my hand is basically on the bottom of their foot, and then my hand is touching my body, right? So my hand's on their foot, like so. Then my hand is touching my own body, not their foot, right? So we would put our hand on the bottom of their foot, and then my hand touching my body, another hand on their knee, and then I would begin to flex their hip more, okay, into this position, all while maintaining no knee extension, right? Because this might be too much for them. So I can get into this position, and I can go, okay, look, this is my first 30 seconds, right? Then my next 30 seconds is let me know when to stop. Okay, let me know when to stop. Okay, there, hold. So let me start again. So 30 seconds, okay. Then I tell them, I'm gonna stretch your hamstring a little bit more. Let me know when to stop. Okay, stop. 30-second hold. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit more. Let me know when to stop. Stop. Then that's my last 30-second hold. Okay, so let me just go back a second. I started here. I said, this is your first 30 seconds. This is for someone who's not flexible at all, right, in the hamstring. So this is not, there's no way they're going to be able to get to this point or even there. Like, it's too difficult for them. So we're going to start them here. And so we go, this is their 30-second. So I could do one of two options. I could try this. If I get more out of that, I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. Like I can work that. That's 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds. Good. That's a minute 30 there. But let's just say I go here and it's like, there's no way. I can't get them to extend much at all. Too difficult, right? They're just not very flexible. My next option could be pushing them into more hip flexion. That's the second 30 seconds. Third 30 seconds is here. Okay. So that's where we have individuals who are not flexible at all. Now, Now let's take somebody who's more flexible than athlete A, all right? Or patient A. So we're gonna basically keep the hip knee extended and we're gonna raise it, okay, as far as we can go. Now most people, moderately flexible individuals, okay, can get to maybe about right there. And then they start to feel it, right? The femur and the tibia and the whole leg is heavy. It really doesn't, it depends on the person, right? Football players, 6 foot, volleyball players, basketball players. Us being able to hold our hand behind their foot like so. It becomes too difficult for our arms, right? So our arms will start to shake, right? Our arms start to burn. It's like a workout. So we don't want that. So let's just say we go, okay, let me know. I'm going to stretch your hamstring out. Let me know when to stop. Stop. Okay. I sit down next to them. I put their foot on my shoulder. Okay. I put their foot on my shoulder. And then that's okay, right? A lot of times I still will put my hand on their foot and my hand, sometimes if it's slow enough, but foot on shoulder is okay. Foot on chest, hand needs to go between the foot and the chest. Foot on shoulder, okay. Rest it on the shoulder, right? We're not compromising anybody when we put foot on shoulder, right? So foot on shoulder, the knee is going to want to bend, okay? Especially for those who are kind of on the border of not being very flexible. So as we put our hand over the top of the knee, like so. We can also put our hand behind their calf and another hand on top of the knee. This is 30 seconds. Okay, I'm going to push up. I usually tell them I'm going to push up a little bit more. You let me know when to stop. Okay, then I'll go up a little bit higher. Okay, stop. Then there's my next 30-second hold. Then I'll go, okay, I'm going to go a little bit more, a little bit higher. Let me know when to stop. I kind of scoot. If I'm on a table and my one foot's on the ground, one foot is off the table, okay? Just like a training table, for example. And I'm sitting halfway off the table, halfway on. Okay, one hand, foot on the shoulder. One hand over my left hand, if it's the right leg, one of my hands over the knee, another hand underneath the calf. And then I'm going to scoot, right? A little bit closer to them. So like basically their butt is like right in this area. And I'm like, I don't know, a few centimeters or an inch away from their glute area, not touching them, right? And then this is my last 30 seconds. So I go first 30 seconds, right shoulder over. Next, let me know when to stop. Stop, I scoot. 30 more seconds. Okay, let me know when to stop. I'm going to push a little bit higher. And I might scoot a little bit more. And then there's my last 30 seconds. So that is with someone who is moderately flexible. The last one is taking someone who's super flexible, who's extremely flexible, right? So you get up to stretching their hamstring out and you go, okay, let me know when to stop. And you, all right, let me know when to stop. And then you keep going. Okay, they're flexible. And then all of a sudden it's like they keep going, right? And you're like in this position. All right, well, then you're like, well, they're super flexible and they're barely feeling it. So this would be demonstrating for somebody who is extremely flexible, right? So we're up here, right? Full hip flexion, full knee extension, right? And then you'll find that you'll do the same thing, okay? So now I'm standing up, all right? So now I'm standing up and because I can't, if I'm sitting down, I'm not going to I'll fall over them, right? So now I'll stand up next to them if they're on the table. And it's a little easier to stretch someone who's this flexible on a table. So I'll stand up, and now I'll just walk them this way. I know I'm trying to allow you to see it. So now I'll just kind of walk them forward, right? And I can put my hand on the top of their foot, and I can put my hand over their knee, and then I'll just say, okay, let me know when to stop. Okay, stop. So this is 30 seconds. All right, they're still not feeling it. Right there. Okay, they say, oh, okay, I can feel it. Okay, 30 seconds. And then I'll go a little bit more, 30 seconds. And then again, 30 more seconds. Now, sometimes you'll get to the point to where their knee is bent. Their knee is bent. Okay, and you have to straighten their leg out, right? So their flexibility is like they get to that point and they're still super flexible, right? So at that point, we're not stretching the hamstrings, right? They don't even need it. So the hamstrings is obsolete. We say your hamstrings are so flexible, we don't really even need to stretch your hamstrings, right? So in review, moderately flexible, right? We'll get here, boom, 30 seconds, shoulder over the leg over the shoulder. Good. That's the first 30-second pass. Next 30 seconds, stop, you scoot. Final 30 seconds, let me know to stop. Stop, we scoot, we hold 30 seconds, right? That's 1:30 for a stretch of the hamstring. Lastly, I showed you this, so we can get to there. All right, a little bit more, 30 seconds, boom. Let me know this. Here's where they start, right? First 30-second stretch, okay, I'm going to push a little more. Let me know to stop, stop. Good. All right, 30-second hold. All right, let me know when to stop. Stop. That's the last 30-second hold, right? And then this is a standing, right? Not holding, a standing. The last thing I showed you again was those they get to this point, they're super flexible, right? And then we can actually, it's very much, they feel it's very little. And then you go a little bit more, it's like they're so flexible that even a stretch doesn't really benefit them, right? So, we could get to that point where we could go, okay, stop. The next 30 seconds, stop. Okay, let me know to stop, right? So it's possible that they would still benefit from a stretch. You just have to determine what that is. And if you think that they're even feeling that stretch, right? Here, again, the last one is they're already here, right? It's like you tested me like, all right, let me know when to stop. I'm stretching your hamstring. Boom, boom, boom. It keeps going. Boom. There's no pain, no discomfort, no pain, nothing. They're already here. No pain. It's like, all right, they don't feel anything. The stretch is again obsolete, unimportant for them to do on that, right? So in review, very inflexible people. You start here. Okay, you can start here. Again, I showed you the first time. Let me know when to stop. Stop. Okay, let me know to stop. Stop. Okay, good. 30 seconds. Let me know when to stop. Stop. And that's their last 30-second hold. Or you can go, if you don't want it. Again, if they're not even able to extend the knee at all, then it might be this. First 30 seconds. Let me know when to stop. Stop. We're just going with hip flexion only. 30 seconds. Okay, hold. I'm going to go again. Let me know to stop. Stop. 30. That's our last 30 seconds. Okay, so we're going to make it real simple. There's a lot of different variations. I'm not going to really get into that, but we can get to this point, and then do a fourth 30-second hold where now you're extending the knee a little bit, right? Oh, that hurts. So what you're going to do for your assignment is you're going to find out what level of flexibility your patient is or your partner is. So if the last thing is that you can start this, right? This is okay if they can barely get it, right? I would suggest that if they're here if your partner's here and that's where their flexibility is and their hamstring, start them here, right? They should be able to get to that point. And then you can make a determination from that, whether you want to do extension of the knee, or if you just think they can't even extend the knee, it's too difficult, just go flexion of the hip. Okay, so in summary, This is what you're gonna do for your assignment. So you're gonna have a partner on the, I would suggest doing it on a bed, okay? On a bed. I'm gonna show you how to do this on the ground when it's sunny outside. Okay, so I'll show you how to do it on the ground tomorrow. I think it should be sunny outside. All right, it's easier to do it on the ground. But I would suggest do it on the bed, right? Low bed, mid bed, high bed. It should be about table height. Lower bed may not be, but you can still sit on the bed and then stretch them out. So here's how you're going to do it, right? So you're going to determine what their flexibility is. The first thing you're going to do to determine their flexibility is raise their leg, right? Wherever they're at. Okay. If they're like here, oh man, that's too difficult. Okay. Go straight to hip flexion, right? And that's how you're going to stretch them out, hip flexion. All right. So that's that. Very low flexibility. Start them out in hip flexion. Now, again, no knee extension. They can't get to it. Just do hip flexion as their stretch. If they can't get into some knee extension, I think maybe I said that wrong. So hip flexion, start here. If they can't get into knee extension at all, it's too difficult, then just go more hip flexion. If you think they can get, if you say, okay, let me know when to stop, that's pretty good. They can, and you get more, okay, 30 seconds. Let me know to stop, okay, then you're good with not doing just hip flexion. Just hip flexion is just like really inflexible people. Start there, right? Start there, boom. So again, no flexibility, right? Go to hip flexion. Hip flexion, tried some knee extension. If they can't get if they can get some knee extension, good. Stick with hip flexion, knee extension. A little bit more, good. If they can't get any knee extension, go just do hip flexion, right? No knee extension. That's for limited flexibility. Moderate flexibility, boom, 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 boom. Okay, stop. All right, we're good enough. We can work with knee extension, hip flexion. Shoulder, foot over the shoulder. Scoot, hand over the knee, one hand behind the calf, hand over the knee. Okay, 30 seconds. Let me know when to stop. After 30 seconds, stop. Good. 30 more seconds. Let me know to stop. Stop. That's the last 30-second pass. If they're again here, so you go. So that's moderate flexibility. Good flexibility. Boom, boom, boom. You checking their flexibility. They can get to about here. Okay, that's pretty good, right? 30-second hold. Standing up. 30-second hold. Boom. Go to the next 30-second hold. Let me know to stop. 30-second hold. Let me know when to stop. Boom. 30-second hold. Done. Super flexibility. You're not stretching them. You're going to check it. This is where they're at. Oh, okay. They can't even feel it. Done. I have a feeling that most of you with a partner will have to be able to stretch a hamstring at some point. Okay. Let's do this. Let's just have you do hamstring.